from the grave. I had a close shave. The cops tried to lock me down.
This is probably offensive to Donnie Wahlberg as somebody who loves Boston to hear that mashed up that way.
Probably. You're right.
As a man who loves Boston, you're kind of obligated to love the rock band Boston.
I guess, but I love the mashups. I'm actually, you know what, now that I think about it, I'm guessing Donnie loves the mashups.
We'll ask him in a second. Donnie Wahlberg with us on 790 The Ticket. He is with Kevin James and a Talking Gorilla on Friday. Zookeeper opens. It's going to be the #1 movie in America for sure. Do you like the mashup? You're musically inclined, so my guess I'm gonna vote no here. Donnie, do you like mashup or no mashup?
I like mashups. I don't like the idea of desecrating a classic such as "More Than a Feeling" by Boston, so I'm going to vote no on that particular mashup.
Fair.
That's totally fair. You are famously.
I'm old school, man. I'm old school. I'm no wild card. You know, I'm old school.
Yeah, fair enough. You're also a Celtics fan. Did you hate the Heat? Did you hate what the Heat did to your team there?
You know, who doesn't hate the Heat other than Miami at this point? But, you know, honestly, the best team always wins in a 7-game series, and for whatever reason, the Celtics, they just didn't, they didn't show up and play the way they were capable of against the Heat, and a lot of that had to do with the Heat's defense. A lot of it had to do with LeBron, who, was roasted in the finals by everybody in the country for his poor play. But, man, I mean, he looked like the greatest player on the face of the earth for every other round in the playoffs. So I'm not sure he's getting a fair deal all the way across the board. But, for whatever reason, he didn't show up in the finals. So it is what it is.
Is Paul Pierce a better actor than you?
No, Paul Pierce is not a very good actor.
But he tries. He tries to sell it with flops and,
he really does.
And shoulder injuries.
Gets carried off the court at least one time a game.
The carried off the court stuff, I'll give anybody that. The flopping and stuff like that. Look, the NBA, some of the rules in the NBA are closer to WWE rules than actual sports rules. Taking a charge and that's like a coin flip every single time. I don't know how a guy running full speed down the lane can have a guy come out of nowhere, step in front of him, and be charged with doing something wrong. I mean, it's one of the stupidest rules in sports, but it is what it is.
Are you friends with like Cornbread Maxwell? Are you friends with any famous
Max
athletes?
Max is my man. Yeah, I'm friends with Max for sure.
So, but can we go to Boston and find you having who's the most random Boston athlete we can find you having a beer in a corner with?
You can find me and Max playing poker together. That's what you would find Max and me doing. I'm buddies with a few. I'm buddies with a few athletes up there. You might see me with a couple of Patriots. You might see me with Kevin Youkilis, and you never know. I'm buddies with Cam Neely, so that's good news right now. But we're from Boston, so we love everybody up there.
Donnie Wahlberg with us on 790. Again, Zookeeper, it opens on Friday. Zookeeper, he's a part of it. He's been in some good movies. He's been in Ransom. He's been in The Sixth Sense. He's been in 3 of the Saw movies. Do you have a favorite, Donnie?
Favorite movie? Right now it's going to be Zookeeper because I'm going to get to take my son to see it on Friday. And my little boy, my older son, was into the Saw movies, and I got to take him to see those, and he was like the hero of his high school when those movies came out, because everyone suddenly thought I was cool. I wasn't that guy from New Kids on the Block anymore. I was like, your dad's cool, man. He's in Saw. But to see Zookeeper this weekend with my 9-year-old is going to be pretty amazing.
What is the better feeling? Is it stepping on stage at a concert as a star member of New Kids on the Block, or is it making a successful movie?
It's it's both. I think they're both different. Dan. If you're sitting on PTI, it's got to be incredibly exciting and fun and challenging, and but at the same time, you're doing your radio gig, and you do a lot of different things, and they're all satisfying in different ways, and they all require a different sort of skill and a different a lot of work, and none of them come easy. You have to work to be in a position to take advantage of all of them. And so I get an equal thrill from both. I mean, there's nothing like, playing in the Boston Garden in front of a sold-out house. I mean, we played in Fenway Park a month ago, New Kids and Backstreet Boys together, and sold out Fenway Park. And, I mean, that's one of the biggest thrills of my life. And there's nothing like it. But that said, there's also an incredible feeling of doing really good work in a different area, like in a movie.
That had to be very cool, though. Specifically Fenway, right? Yeah. That had to be. I mean, you had to have been lightheaded.
It was really. It's beyond description. I mean, it started pouring rain in the middle of the show, and not one soul left the building or left the park, and neither did we. We stayed out there in the pouring rain for 2 hours and gave everything we had. And we closed the show on the Green Monster, singing our song "Hangin' Tough," and it was one of the most epic nights of my life for sure.
You're an actual tough guy in a boy band, which is a little unusual. Did you get tried a lot by guys in bars and whatnot, in restaurants?
All the time. All the time, and it took me a while to learn that there's no win in trying to fight that sort of stereotype that you can't be a stand-up guy in a boy band. It just I had to learn the hard way. You just got to walk away from it. And I think sports. Ironically, I'm such a big sports fan that sporting events, I had to stay away from them for a while as a kid, because I would go and there'd be that one belligerent drunk up in the bleachers or whatever would yell something out, and I didn't know how to turn away from that. I didn't know how to be like the athletes on the field. I didn't know how to take their lead. I'd be the dummy that would, give them the finger and get fined $50,000 by David Stern. I'd be that guy. I couldn't walk away from it, and it took me a while to learn that, that I how to ignore it and how to just show up and enjoy the experience of being there, and like everyone else. And once I did, ironically, everyone stopped badgering me. I stopped getting the guys testing me, and I started getting people respecting and appreciating me. And so, in some ways, I don't think I ever brought it on myself, but in some ways, once I let go and stopped worrying about people testing me, they stopped.
Well, when you say you had to learn the hard way, what was the hard way? How did you learn? Did you actually
getting in fights and getting sued, and stuff that you see a lot of players go through today. It's ironic. I do relate to a lot of athletes in a lot of ways. Sometimes these guys get ripped for different things they do and different decisions they make, and it's easy as a sports fan to sit at home and say, what's this idiot doing out at a strip club at 3 a.m, or what's he doing out at a bar, or why is he here, why is he there, or why doesn't he just walk away? He's got millions of dollars. It's hard. It's hard when you grow up in a tough neighborhood and having to protect yourself and take care of yourself in the streets, to just suddenly say, okay, well, now I got money and now I have to just ignore everything. It takes a little growing up, and you got kids, skipping college and going straight from high school to Major League Baseball or to, professional basketball and stuff. It's hard. It's hard for these guys to stay away, and, you can't suddenly have just because a kid is suddenly rich doesn't mean he suddenly hangs out with the Rockefellers. They want to go back to their old neighborhood and celebrate, who they are and what they have, and share it with their friends. And when you do that, you get in trouble, because people want to take a shot at you.
Zookeeper opens Friday. Kevin James, Donnie Wahlberg. It opens on Friday. It's going to be the #1 movie in America when it does open over the weekend. Is there anything bad about being a boy band member? What are the bad things? I mean, obviously, women falling all over themselves for you for years and years. So what are the bad things about being a boy band member?
That was probably it. Just getting into fights and stuff like that. But, it wasn't always bad. Nothing's really bad. It's all what you make of it. And that's just what I learned. It's, acting is great, and being in my band is great. And, it's up to us, whatever we do, as a profession, there's always going to be good and bad. And, but if you, like I had to do, if I can learn how to accept the bad and realize that the good far outweighs it, then, the bad becomes less bad. And right now I'm 40 years old. I'm mature enough to know right from wrong, and I'm enjoying every single second of everything that I do. And if I work 30-hour days, between acting and doing a concert like I'm doing today, I mean, I flew from New York from the set of Blue Bloods to L.A. to the premiere of Zookeeper, which I'm going to now, and I'm going to take a helicopter down to Anaheim and do a concert at the Pond, and what could be better than that?
What was the single best thing about it, Donnie?
About the day or about
being a member of a boy band?
That's a pretty cool day you put together, though, too. Helicopters.
Just walking on stage in front of 20,000 screaming people. It doesn't get old. I'm 41, and it's as exciting now as it was when I was 18 years old.
Donnie, thank you for making time for us. Congratulations on the movie. It opens Friday. Zookeeper is the name of it. We appreciate your time.
Thank you, and I'm a big fan. I'd love to go back and talk strictly sports sometime, so maybe we'll make that happen.
Well, I mean, we'll helicopter you in. Well, you got, of course, you got too much coming. You got too much going on.
I'm Deion Sanders of the music business today.
Can you get me the talking gorilla?
Yeah, right.
I'd like to also interview the talking gorilla. Thank you, Donnie. I appreciate you saying so. Thanks for making time.
Thanks, guys.
All right, Donnie.
It's a pretty big, cool life he's put together there, right?
That's a pretty big, cool day he's put together.
I mean, movie stars want to be rock stars. I mean, I guess it's overstating it to say he's a movie star, but I mean, he's in movies.
He's a multimedia star. I was completely impressed with him. I thought he was an excellent interview. The only two issues that I have, and I couldn't stop thinking about it, was he said, "I'm working 30-hour days, which is physically impossible."
Well, I think he was being sorry. I think he was making a joke.
And then he said he was 40 years old, and a couple minutes later, he celebrated his birthday. He became 41. That was the only thing. It was the only thing I noticed, and I thought he was fantastic.
How was the phone line?
It was a pretty good phone line. He's got that great Boston accent. I loved it.
He's got the you knows. That's a Boston thing. It really is. Here's the thing. We've had this discussion before. Would you rather be a rock star or an athlete? And I've always answered athlete, athlete, athlete every single time. I went to U2 last week, Dan, and I'm telling you, I have completely changed on this one. I want to be Bono. I want to be the rock star. LeBron James is our greatest athlete, right? Top 5, top 3, our greatest athlete. He can get people to stand and cheer for 5, 10 seconds at a time, maybe once or twice a game if he's having a good game, a couple of ducks. Bono can get 70,000 to stand for 3.5 hours whenever he feels like it. It has to be the greatest feeling. And sing in unison whenever he feels like it.
Whatever he says, too, they cheer.
It has to be
say hello.
That's it. It has to be the greatest feeling.
I would argue that Donnie Wahlberg probably got a longer and louder ovation at Fenway Park
definitely
a couple weeks ago than any Red Sox ever has.
Well, I don't know about that.
How about that?
I think they like their baseball slightly more than they do their boy band.
I'm saying a longer, louder ovation for Donnie Wahlberg and NKOTB than any Red Sox has ever gotten in Fenway Park.
I think the adrenaline rush of dunking, the physical, manly act of dunking and bringing a crowd to its feet in a big moment is probably better than getting them to sing for you. But I understand the point overall you're making.